He's one of the longer tenured coaches in the A-10. Here's a bolstered starting five for the Explorers tonight. Nursing a bone bruise in the left knee, Pookie Powell is back in the starting lineup. And of course, when you've got the transfer from Syracuse, among the leaders in a number of offensive categories in the Atlantic 10 of B.J. Johnson. You combine his numbers with Jordan Price, they're good for 34 a night. Mark Schmidt, the second winningest coach in St. Bonaventure school history, has these bodies stapled as usual. Idris Taki, Matt Mobley, Jalen Adams, Denzel Gregg, and Josh Ianni in the starting five. The bodies are 15-9 overall, 7-5 in league play, taking on Explorers, 13-10 record, 7 wins in the Atlantic 10. New York here tonight between LaSalle and St. Bonaventure. 31st meeting all time. The previous 30, 17 of them have been taken by LaSalle. Denzel Gregg in the center jump circle. Demetrius Henry wins the tap, and LaSalle will have the opening possession.
This LaSalle team, they feature a 4-guard lineup. So this is something that for LaSalle, they're very quick, they're very active, a very good three-point shooting team.
It'll be very interesting to see how many zone defensive looks that St. Bonaventure applies to LaSalle. That's really one thing that the coaching staff had talked a lot about. First possession, Pookie Powell launches it. There's no restrictions on the number of minutes that he can play tonight. It'll be the challenge of how fluid that knee is able to move, how sore it is in between the timeouts. They go right in the middle, and Denzel Gregg gets the first two.
Nice job inside by Denzel Gregg. We mentioned it's a 4-guard lineup, so it's a 4-guard defense as well. And guys like Denzel Gregg or Josh Ianni can have a mint down low. But you're right, with Pookie Powell, Dr. Giannini told us yesterday, he said, if I can get 10 to 12 minutes out of him to guard one of those guards for St. Bonaventure, that's a bonus. If I can get more, it's even better.
And he changes everything on the offense. And we were talking with the St. Bonaventure staff. When you've got Powell on the floor, that's not a guy you can give an extra step. You have to go right at his chest to prevent the dribble drive. And because of that, it was a wide open feed inside to Demetrius Henry to get the jam. A 2-2 ball game and some sort of a violation. No, an injured player. Idris Taki. He's down writhing in pain on the inline.
Yeah, he's holding his head after the play. Not sure if he got a knee or if he face planted right on that baseline. But Idris Taki, he's the glue guy for the St. Bonaventure team, the junior. He's been a captain for a couple years now. There you see him right there, and he got hit in the face on the way up for the shot.
Junior out of Snellville, Georgia.
Yeah, it looked like he took a left forearm from Demetrius Henry on that one. And Taki looks like he will take a quick seat.
It's on the follow through, and it's going to be inadvertent contact.
Yeah, the officials confirmed it's just one of those plays where you get inside and the guy's arm is flailing and you get popped. So Darian Griffin will come off the bench for the Bonnies. And Griffin, as a sophomore forward out of Jacksonville, has played a nice role off the bench for this Bonnies team.
Powell steers the point, and a 2-2 game early on.
St. Bonaventure coming out in a 1-3-1 trap.
Nice shuttle over to Stooks. Tries to create in the paint. Lost it. It's booted off the foot of St. Bonaventure. That's a good call.
Yeah, it was off of Darian Griffin's foot, but we mentioned how good of a three-point shooting team LaSalle is. So this 1-3-1 zone forces LaSalle to play out farther away from the basket because St. Bonaventure's not worried about their post guys at all. They're not really an inside, banging inside type of team. So with this 1-3-1 trap, they're going to try to avoid shots like these.
It went down but then popped out. Offensive rebound for Henry. Fouled on the putback attempt after the miss by Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson took that long three-pointer, but B.J. Johnson, Ben, him and Jalen Adams, they'll be up for Player of the Year in the Atlantic 10. They're both such gifted players. He missed that shot, but Demetrius Henry now going to the line.
B.J. Johnson, 17 points, 6 rebounds per game at 6'7", transferring in from Syracuse. And what hasn't been written about Jalen Adams this year, 13th in the country in scoring, tops in the Atlantic 10 at 21 points per game.
He's also tops in the Atlantic 10 in assists as well.
Tremendous player and mounting one of the best careers for any perimeter player in Bonaventure history.
There's been a lot of good guards that have come through St. Bonaventure.
And in recent turn, too. We're just not going back to late yesteryear. Mobley steps into the three. It's off the back iron. The rebound batted into the hands of Jordan Price. The #1 and #2 offensive scoring teams, both averaging 78 points. If he gets into a frantic pace, you can expect that tonight. Good head fake, and the left-handed release by Johnson comes up short.
Yeah, not a good-looking shot by Johnson. He had a nice wide-open look, and he just whiffed on it.
Here's Jalen Adams with a tap to Denzel Gregg, who's logged 8 double-doubles this season. They'll stay with St. Bonaventure after the deflection.
And for St. Bonaventure to be successful, they need Denzel Gregg to be that #3 scorer. They didn't have him. He was in foul trouble on Saturday against George Washington, and it really hurt St. Bonaventure. Their offense really wasn't clicking. And Denzel Gregg is such a difference when he's out on the floor, whether he's shooting, getting offensive rebounds, blocking shots.
Adams lifted the forearm, goes to Mobley. Good news for St. Bonaventure, too. You can see Taki back on the floor. Stays with the Bonnies.
And 9 seconds on the shot clock. Mobley's had a couple open looks. And keep in mind, the St. Bonaventure offense, they run through Jalen Adams. They will give him 30 to 40 ball screens a day. So they'll look to try to create with Jalen Adams off those screens.
Here's Mobley out of the right corner, who hits from downtown. Mobley's tremendous on the perimeter. He goes over 1,200 points in his combined career from Central Connecticut State, and now at St. Bonaventure, averaging 17 points a game. As a sophomore at Central Connecticut, he's having a tremendous first year on campus.
And he's #1 in the Atlantic 10 and made 3-pointers per game at just a shade under 3 per game.
Jump pass for Powell, jukes left to test out that knee. Goes to Stooks into a double team to beat the shot clock. Powell just got it away. St. Bonaventure by a point. Both these teams feeling each other out, making some mistakes in transition, allows Josh Ianni an easy bucket.
And that's where St. Bonaventure can take advantage down low. LaSalle just can't match them up in the post. If Ianni and Ikpeazi off the bench, if they become impact players, it's going to bode well for St. Bonaventure.
And good news tonight and beyond for Mark Schmidt, both of them true freshmen. Ianni making his 18th consecutive start tonight. Pump fake underneath, got a clean look for Henry. Tapped back, Price passed on the three, fades away in the paint and connects.
Nice job by Jordan Price reversing in the lane. Henry, who thought he was drawing contact, went up a little bit too strong.
Good slip by Gregg, gathers, got the bucket and a foul. He'll be at the line looking to complete a 3-point play when we return. Bonaventure trying to stretch out a 3-point lead at the first timeout.
Getting some open looks, not knocking it down. Only 2 of 7 from the field. The other side, Ben, St. Bonaventure 4 of 6 from the field. 3 assists already for Jalen Adams. Taki assisted on the other one, so they got 4 made buckets, 4 assists.
6 of the points in the paint, too. The first free throw of the night for St. Bonaventure provides a 4-point lead. LaSalle basketball feeling the healthiest that they've been in a month. That was one thing John Giannini was finally smiling about when we were talking to him earlier this week.
Yeah, Pookie Powell started practicing a little bit on Monday. Practiced maybe for about a third of the time. Got a little more comfortable yesterday. It was really the first time he was able to test out that bone bruise.
Kicked out for the 3 with the shot clock winding down off the mark. That's the Zimbabwe native, Fury. Getting some early action, averaging about 7 minutes a game. He's on the floor coming out of the first media timeout. Adams patiently works one-on-one against Powell. Good feed, Ianni, the long jumper, and he shows the touch. That's a confident shot coming from a true freshman.
Yeah, Josh Ianni has done a really nice job. They didn't really expect him to play much. They had Gino Oboko, the transfer from Syracuse, listed as their #1 5, but then he got hurt a couple games into the season, and Ianni was thrust into that starting role out of necessity, but he's really blossomed into a solid post player, and again, only a true freshman.
Stooks hangs in the paint and connects for his first bucket. At just 6 feet 2 inches, third in the A10 with a 52% field goal percentage.
He had 22 points against Rhode Island, his career high. He's the big assist guy on this team, and more importantly, Stooks, in the absence of Pookie Powell, took really good care of the basketball. His assist to turnover ratio, Ben, 2-1, number 1 in the Atlantic 10.
He's distributing it, and he's producing points, too. 4 out of the last 8 games, he's been into double figures and shooting at 63%.
Well, that's one of the things that Dr. Giannini told us the other day, too, is he said, you know what? Stooks is not our number 1 point guard, but he's played like a number 1 point guard. And he's done everything they've asked of him and more.
Kyle Fury and Henry off to the bench. Bonaventure with the hook pass. Gregg, a long jumper. And the big men are stepping out and finding soft spots to hit down Jays.
Well, that's going to be effective for St. Bonaventure later on, because when that defense starts to come out on them, that's going to leave the post open, and those guys can go in and do some work.
Largest lead for St. Bonaventure at 6 points. Underneath the feed, gathered in by Washington. Couldn't go underneath the iron. Adams leads the charge for St. Bonaventure. Stripped on the way up. It'll stay with the Bonnies.
Jalen Adams gives a little smile. He was trying to politic for a foul there, but that was a clean rip right there as Amadi Ekpezi comes in, another true freshman for St. Bonaventure, 6'10" guy out of Amherst in suburban Buffalo. And he's had a nice, really last 4 games, Ben. He's really starting to come into his own.
Somewhat of a luxury that's blossoming with the young players feeling more comfortable, giving more opportunity. Adams misses the runner, foul on the rebound. That'll get picked up by Amadi Ekpezi.
Yeah, he went over the back, and he's a kid that doesn't play like a true freshman. He's starting to get that confidence, and maybe at times a little overconfidence, forgetting that he's a freshman and trying to do too much, but he's done a really good job over the last couple weeks.
8 against Duquesne, on the floor for nearly 20 minutes in that tough loss against VCU. And then against St. Louis, 6 points, 9 rebounds. Johnson skies towards the rack, and he slams it home. Another nifty feed in the paint, too.
You say a nice feed and nice finish, too.
Gregg got wild with the basketball, threw it right into the hands of Stooks. He leads the break. Passes and an extra drop off, and then on the way up, Washington club. They'll go to the line for a pair.
Well, Washington took a hard foul. That was from Denzel Gregg. It's his first.
On the pinch, Denzel Gregg with the personal foul to the free throw line. Tony Washington had a double-double last year against the Bonnies. Scored 10 points, had a dozen rebounds.
How about a season-high 10 points against the #1 Villanova Wildcats earlier this season? And that was a game LaSalle only lost by 10 points.
That was a great atmosphere at the Palestra in the Big 5 showdown. One of the great venues in college basketball. Doesn't get talked about enough outside the Eastern Corridor. Jalen Adams gets talked about plenty, though, across the nation. The breakout mid-major player of the year.
Yeah, Jalen Adams is going to heat up. He leads the Atlantic 10 in scoring 13th in the nation as well.
Lead swells back up to 5. Stooks outside, and the 3 will fall for Jordan Price.
Jordan Price, an excellent shooter. Preseason second team All-Atlantic 10 at 29 points against Davidson.
And on the inside, Denzel Gregg goes back to work. Big man feeling it near the iron and even outside tonight.
Nice job on the left-hand side of the hoop. Took it with his left hand as weak hand, but he shielded his body away from the defender so he couldn't get his shot blocked.
Denzel Gregg, the third in the trio that gets all the accolades for St. Bonaventure. Of course, the tandem on the perimeter in Mobley and Adams, but it's Denzel Gregg averaging over 14 points in league play. And Jordan Price starting to heat up from downtown. His ability to hit the 3 could force St. Bonaventure out of the early zone.
Yeah, they've been switching back and forth from the 2-3 over to the man-to-man.
This is going to get fun if these guys go shot for a shot. Adams just had it roll off the iron softly. A chance for LaSalle to go in front. Price has the quick possession, long rebound to Taki. Bolts into a pair of explorers. Adams had a wide open look, passed it to Mobley, who attacks. Gregg to Adams out of the corner for 3.
That's absolutely what LaSalle does not want to happen. They do not want Jalen Adams to start heating up early in the first half, because he is capable of dropping 30+ if he gets hot early.
Jalen Adams can do that, and frequently. Twice already this year, 4 times in his career, he's gone over that 30-point mark. Schuler passed on the shot. He'll go to the wing, and it's off the mark from the hand of Johnson. Gregg gallops up the floor. Wow, what a finish. On the move, just kind of slings it up off the 10.
Yeah, just a little kiss off the window. And it was a nice job of Denzel Gregg keeping his body under control. He saw the guy coming underneath him trying to draw the charge. He pulled up, got straight up, and banked it off the glass.
That's the third different way we've seen Denzel Gregg score in this first half.
Well, he can score in a lot of different ways. He's very smooth, and he's really progressed throughout his St. Bonaventure career. He's a typical Mark Schmidt guy.
Schuler from way outside, next to the coach's hash. A deep three for the junior out of D.C. Last year, a regular starter, 30 of the 31 games. Now into more of a role at 5'11". Bonnie survey of the zone. Mobley takes the skip pass. Feeds Taki. Adams runs to the feed. Now drives into the paint. Got it away with 1 second on the shot clock. He'll be at the line when we return after the media timeout. Past the midway point of the opening half. It's a Wednesday night in Olean and Atlantic 10 basketball. The featured matchup as Jalen Adams comes out of the timeout, lining up free throws for Mark Schmidt and his 15-9 Bonnies.
Well, and St. Bonaventure shooting 71% from the floor, 10 of 14 as Adams goes to the line. And Ben, what you saw right before the commercial break is a perfect example of how dangerous Jalen Adams is. We've seen him hit those two outside buckets. That time he drove the lane. Even though he's a small guard, he is not afraid to go in and mix it up. He's listed at 6'2", 185, but he will go up against the 6'8", 6'10 guys that are 250, 260 pounds, and he will go take it to the rack.
That's part of his workout regimen, too, that happens in the offseason. He has filled out the frame. He's not a wiry guard. He can go in and bang around. Into the ball game, Roberts, a quick release after getting on the floor for the first time tonight. Rebound down to St. Bonaventure, enjoying a 5-point cushion. Lost in the paint in transition by Griffin, trying to get to the rack. Went off to the Explorers. It'll stay with St. Bonaventure.
St. Bonaventure the last couple times down the floor has been very aggressive on offense. They're attacking the perimeter. Now they're starting to attack the inside. See Griffin, who's trying to dump that off inside. Might have been better off just taking that to the hole himself.
It's been a relatively clean first 11 minutes. Only one turnover in this game. Griffin with an extra pass. Nice head fake. Movement of the shoulders, and Akpeezy gets an easy lay-in. 42% for the true freshman from the floor, and easy to bolster that. That's an air ball. Came up empty off the hand of B.J. Johnson for the second air.
The St. Bonaventure team has 11 field goals, 9 assists, so the passing has just been outstanding for this team. Really unselfish play by the Bonnies.
Johnny Schuler picks up Jalen Adams. Slips the screen. Gregg on the baseline works with 1 second to get it away, and it won't count.
Just too many moves by Denzel Gregg right there. And the reaction on his face, he knew it. He realized as soon as he heard that buzzer, instead of the 6 moves, probably we're good about 4 or 5.
Just a
looked like himself. Stukes has been nursing an Achilles. A lot of these guys have been injured back and forth, cut nicks and bruises, but now that they've got his full team, he feels good about it.
Out of the timeout, B.J. Johnson slinging it around the perimeter as Pookie Powell goes back in. Good look to Stukes. Called for an offensive foul, though.
That's going to be on Tony Washington. Trying to jockey for position down low with Denzel Gregg, and got Denzel Gregg up by the face.
(28-21) St. Bonaventure advantage. Gregg and Griffin on the floor at the same time. St. Bonaventure goes with a little bit taller and thicker lineup. Ando off the bounce, too strong with the jumper.
David Ando had 20 points against George Washington, and St. Bonaventure knows if David Ando can get some quality points off the bench, they're so much better.
He played 33 minutes in that tough loss on the road on Saturday.
Well, that's because he was hitting shots. If you're going to hit shots, you're going to stay out on the floor.
With 10 of 15 from the floor, he's trying to do that tonight against LaSalle. Timeout with 7:32 left to play in half one. How about the Explorers? Look at the senior Jordan Price. He's good for 18 tonight. The junior coming back home to Philly, B.J. Johnson, bolstering the numbers, combining for 34 per night.
You know, it's amazing with how solid these backcourts are, Ben. The Davidson backcourt of Jack Gibbs and Peyton Aldridge, they're actually number 2 in the country at just under 42 points a game. There's a lot of great duos in the Atlantic 10.
It's great to see that high-powered offense on the perimeter. One conference, that means midweek, weekend, whatever. You've got good matchups. 6-point ball game after the free throws. Ando stays on the floor. Mobley with Adams. Now Greg involved on the perimeter. Griffin, the 17-footer, came off flat.
Yeah, that just came really flat off of his hands. And you mentioned with Ando, he's playing the 5 lately. And between him, Ikpeazi, and Ayeni, he's the best scorer out of the 3. So if he starts scoring for St. Bonaventure, he'll see more time. If he's not, they'll put one of the freshmen in to be that defensive presence.
Harris stopped in the paint. Goes to Powell, bolts towards the rack on the baseline, and a blocking foul will get him an extra free throw.
We'll take a look at this again, and it looked like Ando was holding his ground there. He might have just shifted his leg out just a little bit on that play. We'll take a look, and I don't know. I mean, Powell was falling away. Ando was just standing there. Seemed like that would have been a no call.
That's what Mark Schmidt is asking for on the sidelines. After missing the last 6 games with the knee bruise, and it was within the knee. It wasn't on the outside. It wasn't like he just got clipped. Something that's very painful, and it's the pain that Powell is trying to navigate over the last couple of weeks. Healthy, given the go tonight, made the start. Offensive board down to Ando, and his putback goes. Soft touch using the iron.
Yeah, and he's really skied up. He got really high for that turnaround putback.
Previous 7 games, he didn't total 20 points on the floor at that 20-point burst, hitting 10 field goals.
Yeah, for Ando, it's really been hit or miss. The transfer from Liberty.
St. Bonaventure, his 3rd tour. San Jose State at Liberty, now a senior from Montreal. Off to the baseline, shot blocked away from behind on the attempt to B.J. Johnson.
That was Ando on the block.
Mobley to Greg and a reverse hammer.
Well, Denzel Greg is really feeling it tonight, and that's huge for the Bonnies. He has 13 points.
Game's leading scorer with the Bakers dozen, and LaSalle wants the timeout. They've seen St. Bonaventure stretch out their largest lead to 7.
You see inside Mark Schmidt's huddle. Take a look. A major contributor on the team, where this year Denzel Greg is a solid number 3 option on offense. Last year Deion Wright was number 2. Yusu Endo is just an unbelievable defensive presence. Played the D-League last year. So they've got a lot of guys who have fit this Mark Schmidt mold of under the radar, lightly recruited, blossoms under his system.
Griffin tapped it back over the net. Second inbound for LaSalle. You can see John Giannini challenging Pookie Powell coming out of that timeout. Nearly coughed it up. Shot clock's inside 10. Powell slips between a pair of defenders. Lost the pop-up and then went out of bounds.
And Ben, just speaking of Mark Schmidt, the job that he's done here at St. Bonaventure, we were talking to Dr. Giannini the other day. He said, listen, he said, make no mistake. He said, everybody in the Atlantic 10 admires the job that Mark Schmidt has done. They think that Mark Schmidt has exceeded any expectation that any of them thought that he could accomplish here at St. Bonaventure.
High praise from the entire coaching staff and the fraternity of the A-10 and beyond. A lot of coaches think that Mark Schmidt could have left years ago, waiting for the right opportunity. If he has faded away, maybe to a higher program or a different challenge. Bonaventure feeling it with a 34-25 lead after Greg buries his 15th point off the baseline. Powell knifes his way through traffic high off the glass. Rebound into the open floor. Taki can lead the charge. Stops and pops from deep.
Bonaventure has opened up a 12-point lead, their largest of the game, and that was The pocket pick down low of Tony Washington. Mobley goes coast to coast and knocks down the triple. That was after Denzel Gregg hit a shot too.
And another steal by LaSalle. Feed for Gregg and foul +1.
Denzel Gregg is really feeling it tonight. That time he was going to dunk it, saw he was going to have contact, pulled back, drew the contact, got the shot baseline, then Gregg hitting the missing the three-point shot. Ando with the rebound and the putback. Just everything turning up gold for the Bonnies. And just to finish up that last part on Jalen Adams right there, the two guys he was sandwiched between, J.R. Bremer, second team all-rookie for the Boston Celtics, couple years in the NBA. Above him, David Vanderpool, played for the Washington Wizards in the NBA, assistant coach right now with the Portland Trailblazers. So nice company to be sandwiched in between.
No doubt about that, and he's continuing to climb too. Perhaps another NBA player from St. Bonaventure. To the rack, a whistle first.
Well, I think we
foul underneath.
You mentioned Jalen Adams with the NBA, and there are some rumblings with the NBA from what scouts have said is they want to see him really shore up his defense. They know he's got the offensive game he can distribute, but they want to see him be able to play defense.
His defense picks up the first personal foul for Jalen Adams. E.J. Johnson uses half the iron to get it.